You know what human beings and bees love? Flowers. So why not show some love to this week's Game Over Greggy show sponsor, Pro Flowers. Right now, Pro Flowers has a special offer just for our listeners. Get $10 off your purchase of $29 or more. To snag this deal, go to proflowers.com, enter the code Greggy at checkout. I got Pro Flowers delivered to the house last week, true story. And you know what I did? I cried because Jen wasn't there to get them. But you know what Colin's girlfriend Erin did? She put them out on the kitchen table, and they looked like funfetti cakes. They were all like white flowers with like the sprinkles in there. It was really pretty. So do yourself a favor, help out this show, and support Pro Flowers. There has to be a bee in your life that needs flowers, or a person. So you can get $10 off your purchase of $29 or more at proflowers.com. Just go there and enter the code Greggy at checkout for a special deal. Buzz, motherfucker. My topic, I'll tell you at the stop. Well, first off, I'll tell you at the top.
What?
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, to Patreon producer, Salem Ghanem El Ghanem.
Yeah, boy.
Always a pleasure to serve you. Thank you for your support. My topic is going to be the worst pranks you've ever been involved with. Pranks. As usual, I will deviate pretty quick into a Greg story that isn't even solely revolving around a prank, right? Mm-hmm. But I was talking about rudest pranks you've ever played.
It's not the goddamn raccoon story again, is it?
No, it's not. And that was a hit, and everybody loved it, so you should just shut up. But here's one of the pranks I was thinking about today that we should do.
Sure.
Kevin, bear with me. You've already heard it. Andy, you've already heard it. But we're driving over to the one and only Outback Steakhouse today.
Yeah.
We pull into the parking lot. Andy's parking. We see Nick pull in. While Andy, of course, how many hours did you used to drive here to move here from Austin?
I don't know. It was like 1,100 miles, though.
How many days?
3 days.
3 days of driving. So you
it
still have
was
a
like
lot of shit.
10 hours, 12 hours, and then like 7 hours.
Still a lot of crap in your car.
Yes.
I've ridden now in this car twice, back-to-back days, Tim. There's dumbbells up front, so I rest my feet on them, because if I put them down, the dumbbells, they'll roll and hurt my ankles, and I don't want to get hurt by these dumbbells. And so Andy's parking the car, and Nick pulls in, and the first thing that comes to my head, Tim, is that you got to get us some kind of car sponsorship.
Okay.
Because what I'd love to do
right
is if everything had gone according to plan with this car sponsorship, here's what would have happened. We would have beaten you at Outback Steakhouse. You would have pulled in, parked there. I would have walked over, tossed a dumbbell right through your fucking windshield. And we would have been filming it, and you would have jumped up, and you would have been, why did you do this? And you'd be freaking out. And then I would yell, it's just a prank. It's just a prank. We got a new car. We got you this new car. And we'd give you the new car.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, well, but you wouldn't be with the dumbbell through the windshield at first, probably.
No, well, here's why I wouldn't be in general, period. Because I would still have to call my insurance company to explain to them what the fuck happened to this. And it would still be a pain in the ass.
Sure.
And this is where I always default to when it comes to pranks, is that as the person that takes care of a lot of the actual adult stuff here, I'm the person that's been on the phone all day with the healthcare provider.
Thanks,
I'm always the one who has to deal with like onboarding new employees, things like that. I'm always the person that has to do the 10 hours of waiting on hold with the really shitty hold music, while you all get to just go fly drones all over the place.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. When Tim and I are at our desks, we're flying drones, having a great fucking time.
I just mean like you guys don't bear the brunt or feel like you bear the responsibility of having to like
make
do
the adult decisions
boring,
for us.
stupid shit that like everyone has to do. So I would. That's when I start thinking about pranks. I'm like, please don't do that, because if anything goes wrong, I'm gonna have to be the person that explains to the police what's going on and then file the insurance claim and do all that stuff. And it's just not worth it.
But think of how great it would have been though if you just pull in, putt, and just wham, fucking dumbbell right through the windshield.
It's good.
Good old Greg
Going
Miller.
off what Nick's saying here about someone has to be an adult. I forgot exactly who it was. I think it was the Creatures were telling me about this.
The Ladybugs?
Where they had this office where they were like, they shared an office with a building with a whole bunch of other people. And they were on like the second floor or whatever, or third floor. And they ordered a shit ton of ladybugs. Remember we did a Game Over Greggy show topic one time about ordering
the weirdest shit you can order. Yeah,
Amazon. I was like, oh, you can buy a bunch of ladybugs. Well, they did.
Yeah.
And they bought thousands and thousands and thousands of ladybugs and put it in one of their guys' offices and just like let them go.
That would terrify me.
And then the ladybugs started going through a bunch of holes and shit and falling into the offices below them. And then ladybugs just kind of took over the office.
Oh my god!
The entire office was fucked, and they like got kicked out and shit. And then their adult had to deal with all that stuff. And it was like, was it worth the video?
That's a pain in the ass. Yeah.
Probably not. But
was it worth those like? How many views did it have?
I don't know, but they probably got a lot of views back then. But that's funny though.
Yeah, it's a good.
But like, yeah, it's a perfect example. Like, pranks are usually like I would say 9 times out of 10. it's funnier to say, wouldn't it be funny if?
Because the other
than
one
actually doing
that
it.
brought this around today is that Nick it's always you. Nick got up to go to the bathroom today while we were out back
easiest
steakhouse,
person
and I was
to-
like, why don't we all just leave?
And then you realize I drove.
Well, we could have figured it out. We got Ubers.
I got a car.
We're like 6 steaks show up.
See, that's
just
when
to
it's
you.
not worth it. It's like, oh, we're all gonna Uber home.
Yeah, I know. It
I
would've
mean,
been
that
worth
actually
it.
would have been
Worth it. It
funny.
would've been
But that's also inherently something that doesn't like. So I guess my thing is, I don't like the general concept of pranks because, as you guys know, I don't like anything that skews negative. I like anything that's positive. Like I'm fine if the prank is, hey, we buy you a coffee, here you go,
$20, gotcha.
or whatever. Yeah, like, but I just don't like. I've always like disliked the concept of the prank because
Sure.
it means that at some point I am going to directly be responsible for someone feeling bad.
Right.
Even though it's the next second they're gonna be like, oh, it was just a joke. Okay, it's fine.
No, see, I think that there's a difference there where I agree with you. I think pranks need to have, there's the, setup, punchline, but then there also needs to be like but it's okay because. Like I think what Greg's talking about breaking your car and then, you get a new car, I'm down with that type of prank. I just feel like more often than not.
I'd pay for your new
But
windshield
then
when we
it's
sell
like,
the car.
and then the next
hey
day
D,
it
I got a new
rains
car.
and the car is just
Oh my
useless.
God, Kevin's got cardboard and cellophane. It'll be fine.
But here's my point. Why not just buy him with a new car and be like, Nick, we got a surprise for you.
We're not buying the car. We're getting
Here's a new car. I'm
Pranked
like,
ya, dude.
dope. Thanks, guys.
Pranked
This
you.
really helps a lot.
It's a standard, not automatic. Gotcha.
I can drive clutch. It's fine.
Oh, fuck.
So now, but then it got me thinking about pranks in general, though, of like what you're talking about. I want to know about if you've done pranks and the worst ones you've done, because I think I was such a shitty fucking person. You know what I mean?
You have an inner bully for sure.
But I've tamed it. You know what I mean? I say a lot of stuff
You have.
of like, hey, what if I did this or what if I did that? Doesn't
And
mean
you're
I'm going to
fucking
actually
crazy
do
when
it.
you say those things.
What do you
Like
mean?
I don't know where there's a dark hole somewhere
There's
in your head.
dark hole
where
in your
you'll come
head.
up with
Two
stuff
of
where
them
I'm
right
like,
One
what?
back there.
Windows
Where
to
did
the
it come
netherworld.
from?
Didn't you say
That's
you were
the
going to
other one.
tombstone somebody's mom in Iowa or something?
Well, I mean, like at Kind of Funny Live, I threatened to fight. I gave very detailed descriptions of how I was going to fight Trevor Starkey, Alex O'Neill, Cameron.
Not necessarily
and then
pranks,
my
just kinda
mom
threats.
got mad at me for saying that, so I canceled the triple threat against them and said I was just going to tombstone pile drive my mom at
Oh,
Kind of Funny Live.
okay.
I'm going to fight my own mother now at Kind of Funny Live. I don't know if she knows. But you better fucking get ready, JPK700 on Twitter, because I'm coming and I'm going to fucking end it.
Oh my God.
Wow.
See? Yeah.
Don't
Dark
like
places.
any of
Dark-
those.
See, that's
Dark
all
Side of the
Undertaker
Dark.
stuff.
There's
I didn't
so
even
much
say
shit
rest in
growing
peace.
up for me. Like pranks is kind of a weird thing, but fucking with people.
Sure,
we
yeah.
talked
All right,
about
fucking
it.
with people, yeah.
But like 99% of the time of the pranks that I did, when I look back at it now, anytime I had that inkling of like, I probably shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
Looking back now,
Should've
I'm
listened to
like,
that time.
I should have not done it.
Yeah.
Like it was never worth how funny it was at that
Yeah,
moment.
sure.
And it's a lot of the times it was really fucking funny. But there's so much times where I'm like, fuck, I could have really.
Oh, yeah,
I
fucked
could
up
have killed
everything.
people.
Yeah.
I could have fucked up so many dumb things. Like,
Give me
like,
one.
There's some shit I don't even want
Sure,
to
you don't
talk
wanna talk about
because
it.
it's bad. But
Statute
like,
of limitations. They haven't found the body.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's just things where it's like, I remember like just throwing things at buses going by.
Yeah.
Right?
Fuck
Like that
yeah.
was just fun.
Oh, dude, when I was a kid, we used to throw water. We just used to, like, you remember those water balloon launchers?
Slingshots?
Yeah, slingshots. We had this. No, they're like you tied them to two poles. You fucking like two dudes would pull them back, and then you just launch them into the air.
I didn't have this, no.
We used to we used to have fights across. Like we do it across the street from each other. But then when I remember distinctly, like, one of my brother's friends brought it over. We just thought it was fucking hilarious. It's my parents' house, a giant hill, a very large brick wall, and then like a 4-lane
Oh, Jesus.
quasi freeway
Yeah.
on the other side of it. And we would just put random shit in those things
Ah.
and just launch.
No, exactly.
that.
Like there's something about it. It's like,
And it's
that's
like
fucking
that's
funny.
hilarious.
And it's not because like you
anything ever
actually
happen?
could have
Did
killed
any-
people.
No, I don't think anything. No, and nothing ever happened. But because the very first time we heard, we were like, oh,
Yeah.
this is a really stupid, very
There's
fucking
some
dangerous thing to do.
ramifications here.
Yeah.
So what we did was we put the launcher on my parents' patio. They had like an elevated balcony patio, and then people would run around down below, and we just launched shit at them.
Oh, wow.
That was fun.
I thought you were going to break the patio supports.
No, these were like main supports for like the
Gotcha,
house.
man.
But
Okay,
we would
okay.
just two guys would pull it back and try to target, and
Sure.
we had to run around.
Yeah.
And then if like you got hit,
It's like Angry Birds or something.
Yeah, it was
it
really
really
fun.
is. But no, me and my friends would right in front of my house. Two of us would go across the street, and two of us would be here, and we'd have water balloons and throw them at each other across the street.
sure.
And if buses came by, we were no longer the targets. It's fuck the bus. And like the amount of times we'd throw water balloons, and like the target was always trying to get it in the window of the bus so it would hit
Dickhead.
somebody. And like there was one time that some person came out, was soaking wet, just crying, and I was like, oh fuck, I fucked up someone's day.
Yeah, you fucked someone's day up.
You know, and I'll never forget it. It made me feel so bad.
Did you run? Did the bus stop because of the wet? Did the bus stop because
Chris
of the
Farley was driving the bus.
There was a bus stop like half a block away from
okay.
us.
So, yeah,
we were fucking stupid.
Sure.
We didn't think it through that
Dude,
far.
the times that like when you're a dumb kid and you do dumb stuff, and the fact that you don't ever think of the repercussions, I will never forget. We were at I was out at a friend's house. Mike, in Illinois, fireworks are illegal. They had brought fireworks from Indiana, so they had all these fireworks. It's summertime, but not 4th of July. It's after 4th of July. And so we waited till his parents went to bed and had the sleepover, me, him, and Eric. And then we went out into his neighborhood, suburbs of Chicago, Wheaton, Illinois, super like sleepy, quiet area, you know what I mean? And they're just like lighting off bottle rockets, and his brother had a PVC pipe, and we're like shooting this shit off and Roman candles and stuff. And then at one point, we sat down. There must have been somebody else with us. We sat down in just the neighbor's lawn, and there's no like the street lights aren't really a thing. There's like some of them, but enough. So we're sitting there in the dark or whatever. And one of the other guys had to go to the bathroom. Like, all right, we'll wait for you here. And he went off and did that. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's just a flashlight on Mike from the neighbor who came out of their house, saw these dumb fucking kids, and was able to sneak up on them. And he's just like, what the fuck are you doing? It's like 3:30 in the morning on like, Sunday night, I'm sure, or Sunday morning now, I'm sure, because we got nothing to do. What the fuck are you doing? And Mike's like, and I was like, sorry, sir. And he's like, and he's hurt because he didn't see me. He only saw Mike, so I spooked this guy. And he's like, go the fuck home. We're going to call the police. Don't be stupid idiots doing
Dumb
that.
kids are dumb kids, man. I broke my best friend's arm accidentally growing up.
Jesus, how'd you do that?
Because I did the stupid thing like you were talking about, like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if you left Nick?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I have 2 stories with this where it's like that is never funny to actually do because it fucks somebody over.
We've left Kevin multiple times.
I know.
And it was hilarious both times. It was hilarious every time we did it.
Literally both times said, don't leave me, guys, but you were too drunk to remember.
Yeah, that's the story. That's what we told you.
So, anyways, my friend, this is when we all got our first like bikes, like BMX bikes, and there was this hill, and then we would take turns going down the hill, and then it's the thing. Oh, he's going down. It'd be funny if I go out and pretend I'm gonna block him, and it's just like, why would I do that? And I did, and then he fucking got scared, and it's like I was gonna back out of the way. But here's this fucking kid going down this steep ass hill on his bike. He just hits the thing, flips, broke his arm, and I felt hella bad.
Sure.
Then another time was
he mad at you?
No, I mean we were dumb kids. It was like fuck, he was fine, so it was like whatever. But I felt really bad, and I learned a lesson. I was like, don't do that dumb shit. Flash forward a bunch of years when we get cars. We're in cars, and Alfredo is driving his van.
Of course, Alfredo had a van.
Of course he did. He was in the van. I was in the back, and it was my friend Raymond. Was like, we had a packed van, and Raymond was outside, and like everyone got in except for Raymond, and someone's like, go, just leave him. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh, don't do this. He fucking just starts going. Raymond grabs the door of the van. The door fucking rips straight off.
Holy shit.
I was like, holy shit, Raymond. So then we just look back, and Raymond just like has this fucking van door. And like, then we all had to pitch in and pay for Alfredo's mom's car.
That fucking sucks.
That sucked.
God damn, I got a lot. Oh my God. And I'm not going to mention any names.
Yeah, don't incriminate
it's
yourself.
Just awful. So, like, throwing shit at cars. A buddy of mine that, a real good friend of mine from back in the day, he lived next to an orange grove, like orange, lemon, citrus grove. And at night,
life gives you oranges. You make orange juice or eat it or use it as a garnish. Or
it was nighttime, and
I'm sorry, you were making fun of me.
And we had water balloons, right? And we're of course throwing these water balloons at the cars driving by.
Naturally.
Hucking them at them. And then we were like, we graduated to the oranges because we ran out of water balloons.
And also oranges, you can just pick them.
Yeah, it's super easy. You have unlimited ammo with you.
If you get hungry, you eat
So you'd pick them off, and we were throwing them, and a few, maybe 30 minutes went by, and 2 of my friends were like, hey, we're gonna go back inside. They live really close by. So me and my other friend went out, or we stayed there, and I think the goal was he hadn't hit a car yet. And he was like, I want to stay here until I hit a car, because he had been missing quite a bit. I was like, yeah, I'll stay out here with you, And so we're waiting, and then suddenly we see one of the cars is driving, and it's super slow. It starts like slowing down really bad. And we're like, oh, well, this one's going pretty slow. Like maybe be careful. And as it gets closer, it's a cop. The whites and blacks on the car, like it was like that's a fucking cop. And
eat the orange.
And it's like really far away, and we just see shoom, the fucking spotlight turns on.
Oh no!
And he's like looking through the orange grove rows, and we're like, Doug, fucking drop down. And we drop down to the ground, fucking Metal Gear Solid style, like in the dirt, like dirt on our bodies from the orange grove, looking out. and I just see like shoo, 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 the lights going by. And we're like, stay still, stay still, stay still. And it passes by and fucking go. We booked it. We fucking ran spider webs all in our faces and shit. And we ran all the way home. And it was like, God, that would have been really bad. Like, that's something I could never have told my parents about.
Oh, yeah.
They're watching this now. Sorry, Mom and Dad.
We'll raise them right.
That one is really bad.
God, I got tension listening to that story.
And there was again, not really pranks, just ways to fuck with people.
Yeah.
For some reason, we wanted to fuck with somebody in his neighborhood. And got a big trash bin, fill it up with a bunch of water,
Nice.
and as we're walking it down the street, my friend starts pissing in it.
Oh, no, that's gone too far.
And then we lean it up in front of the front door and ring the doorbell a bunch.
No,
So
God
they look out to
damn.
the people. They don't see anything. They open the door.
Oh, no.
Fucking, and this is like 2 a.m. This is like 2 a.m.
That's so
What's
fucked
the
up.
last thing you would want to do at 2 a.m? It's like clean up water and like some piss in either in your carpet or your floor. Just awful.
Damn.
Just
Boys think piss is
Boys are
funny.
stupid. We're fucking stupid.
It was just the dumbest fucking thing. And like,
Were you just off in the bushes laughing?
I was like always the scared one. Like
Sure.
Kevin barely knows me. Like I mean, you know, we know each other, but he's already noticed that I'm the worrier. And I was always like what the fuck are we doing, guys? Like, why are we doing this shit?
That was me.
Filling balloons with like
feel like that was
mustard
me
and
too.
water and throwing them. We threw it at like this vehicle with a fucking like convertible
Sunroof?
soft top.
Oh, okay.
God.
And yeah, we
Oh,
did
what
the
a-
bologna
you're a
on the
fucking
cars.
asshole.
Baloney?
Yeah, so like the bologna apparently like eats at car paint if you leave it
Damn,
overnight.
you were like fucking really trying to fuck these
Dude,
guys
I
up.
didn't know. Yeah. So like, I feel like I'm the innocent party. So fuck all my friends. They're the reason.
They're the
I
bad
feel like
apples.
I feel like you just don't realize that what you're doing at the time has long-lasting consequences. that could be-
Absolutely.
like when I remember my brother. I think I've told the story on the podcast before. My brother pissed off the girls' soccer team in high school.
Don't think you've told the story.
Oh, so yeah. So my brother, I don't know why he either pissed them off or who knows when you're a kid why you get your house TP'd. Maybe they like you, maybe they hate you. It doesn't matter. Maybe they don't even know. But for whatever reason, we got our house TP'd by the girls soccer team, and I think my brother ended up maybe he broke up with one of them. It doesn't matter. They took mustard and they squirted it in, like they wrote all these things all over our driveway, and one of the things they wrote was like perverted pig, and they wrote it. Like everything else came off, but for some reason that one ate away. Like it cleaned the cement.
Sure.
So when you wiped it off the next day, for the longest time, my parents just had perverted
It's
pig.
like suntan lotion.
Yeah,
like
it's,
when you
it's
leave
exactly
it on.
like
Yeah,
that. Like it
yeah.
ate through all of the oil and shit on the driveway, and it was just there. And I'm like, huh. And every day I walked home, I was like, that's really fucked up. Like that's just everyone that comes to visit my house just sees that. Now.
I think I've told this story somewhere on one of the millions of shows we do. But so the incredibly condensed version is I've been on the other side of that, where it was one of our friends went out on a date. And he was the only one who had a girlfriend, so there's all the fucking jabronis I hung out with, and we were like, you know what we should do? Let's just prank him nonstop tonight. Okay. So we drove to his house and like got shaving cream from Jewel Osco and wrote on his car and put it on his windows, and he at his house. And so then he came out like 15 minutes later with the girl to go to the movie. He's like, oh, and he wiped it all off and went to the movie. And we're like, oh, hilarious. And we're filming all this, hilarious.
Yeah.
So then we followed him to the movie. Found his car in the park, and it's like a giant like AMC 30. It took forever. We drove around, find his car. We ride all over that.
Dedicated.
Go to Steak and Shake, go home, start playing video games, forget all about it. And I get a call from him, and he's furious because it turns out shaving cream will take paint off a car if it sits in the Chicago winter for 2.5 hours while you watch
shit.
Mummy Returns or whatever the fuck was on. You know what I mean? And like his sister picked up the phone,
Brendan
who was
Fraser.
older, and I didn't even know. And she's like. He was like furious, obviously. He just put the phone down because his parents are yelling at him. He's yelling at us. And then she just picked up and she's like, this is really not cool, guys. And the way she said it, I'll never forget. I'm just like, I'm sorry.
There's that wake-up
We
sobering
are
moment.
his friend. We didn't know this was the thing. We didn't think this through on like how that would. Because there was a moment in the thing when we went to get Silly String. And we were all like, no, that might fuck up the car.
You just
Yeah.
feel
Don't do that.
gutted. Yeah, you feel
Yeah.
awful
Yeah.
inside.
And it was the same thing. Like when I look back, you know, I was talking about Poe and how he's, you know, my best friend or whatever from growing up and like even till today. And it's one of those things, looking back, I treated Poe so badly in high school because I showed love through sarcasm and being stupid and whatever. And there was a time when Poe was going to run all state cross country or whatever the fuck it was, track. And we TP'd his house and put up signs and stuff. Because TP at the time, it can go either way. We hate you or we love you kind of thing.
Right.
And he was so appreciative of it the next day and blah, blah, blah. And so the next weekend, me and my friends were together like, we should do that again just cause. And we did it again. And Poe was like, all right, I'm not running anything. You don't have to do that. And then the next weekend, we're like, we should do it again. And we're filming it, of course.
yeah.
And there's this moment where we're like on approach to do it, and like we were doing it like Blair Witch Project, and Jason turned around, was telling a story, and he goes like this, and he's telling a story, and you see in the background Poe's garage door open, and there's just a silhouette of him with a hockey stick, and he fucking chased us through the neighborhood, furious at us. You know what I mean? And like we were like, oh, we're just fucking around, and then you look out, like, well, you gotta go out there and clean that up every fucking day, and like I'm sure your family doesn't want to look like that every fucking weekend. All right, yeah, good call. We're sorry.
It's one thing when it happens to you. Like when it happens to you, you feel like, man, I've been fucked with, and this is not okay. And what I always felt like I didn't have any enemies in school. Like I always kind of like hung out with different cliques, and I was I was an athlete, but I was also in theater, and I was in the band in middle school, and I hung out with a bunch of different people. And one day my car or my house was egged.
Yeah.
And I was like, who the fuck did this? And it could have just been 3 fucking assholes like we were.
Yeah.
With no reason, just like putting a trash can against a guy's door. Like that could have been me. I could have just been the random house that somebody wanted to fuck with.
It's scary though, because you're just like, wait, fuck, who's targeting me?
You feel violated.
Like,
Yeah.
Man, I don't.
Well, it's back to the thing.
Think about what you're doing, kids.
Not understanding boundaries either. Where I remember, our group of guys had a group of girls that we were friends with and like would hang out with every so often. And I forget how one day we're like, we're in a prank war.
Let's
you know what I
kill
mean?
one of these girls.
No. We're in a prank war, and I forget what we did to initiate. I think it was like we knew we were in the prank war or whatever, and like we drove up to their house or whatever, and they were pulling up, and we like did the roll down your window, and they're like, "What's going on?" And I like a giant super soaker, just like blasting all. And that was fine. That was fun. No big deal. And then we were in the house playing video games like a week later or whatever, and somebody's like, "They're outside," and we looked outside, and they were taking like panty liners and putting them all over the cars or whatever, and like we jumped in and drove after them all crazy, like chasing them through. Again, Poe always talks about I'm doing like 75 in our icy Chicago neighborhood while listening to like fucking classical music, but that was fine.
Classical music.
And then it was like, well, how are we?
That's fine.
What do we?
You're gonna, like, poison
how do we
them.
get them back? And it was like, you know what?
Escalation, man.
We went to Target, bought sardines, drove up to their parents' mailbox, opened the mailbox on like Saturday night where there was no mail. They already got the mail, and dumped sardines in there and shut the thing and like went away. I was like,
oh my god,
well, that was a stupid fucking thing to do.
They're
Like,
gonna fucking be so pissed off 3 days from now when they get mail.
it's
Their
the
mom
long
tells her.
play. Kids are dumb.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
another one that I was not involved with, but it was really like everybody knew about it in the school. It's like some friends of mine who were trying to fuck with other people, and there was this. It wasn't like a rivalry thing. It was just, hey, there's this friends, we want to fuck with them, and they went to some random, I think, building that was in the process of being built. It was like abandoned. Maybe like they stopped construction on it, and it was really scary for them. They went by this place because it's like, oh, it's dark and it's scary and it's like haunted. There's a stupid rumor going around. And they're like, hey, we want to bring some other people over here. But before they brought them, they got a bunch of like raw meat and put it on the ground. And they lit candles.
Oh, nice.
And they did like a
Oh, wait, I know
pentagram
this
style.
stuff.
And
Jesus Christ.
No. They just made it look like
A sacrifice.
like
something
somebody
happened.
was like doing some fucked up stuff in here. And so they took these random people over and they see like these candles lit with like 666 and like blood, but it was just like the juice from the meat or whatever. And, they had like fake blood and shit like that. And these people like freaked out and they ran out. And when one of the dudes who found out that he was just being fucked with, he was like cursing out one of our friends in the vehicle, like, you motherfucker, I'll fucking kick your ass, like. So one of them got really, really bummed out about it, but it seemed like it was kind of in good fun. But I would have been terrified. I didn't want to be involved. I was too scared.
Scary
little boy.
pranks. I don't like scary pranks.
Scared little boy.
No. Yeah.
I like it.
Thanks for watching. You can subscribe here, go to Patreon there, check out Kind of Funny Games over there, or see a playlist of some stuff Kevin's assembling over there. Kevin's weird.